You're listening to CherryPickin Entertainment.
Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it.
You are now tuned into the CherryPickin podcast with your host, Andre Cherry.
Hey everybody, welcome into the CherryPickin podcast. I'm your host, Andre Cherry, and on today's episode, I want to talk about some of the players who I feel have a good shot to make it to the Heisman ceremony at the end of the season, and one of these guys may actually win the Heisman Trophy. So these are 6 players who I feel have the best opportunity to win a Heisman this year, or to at least be in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy that is awarded at the end of the season. And I just want to run down the list with you all. And we've got 6 players, and they represent ACC, Big 12, SEC, Big 10. And so we'll start this off at number 6 on my list in the ACC. We've got Cam Ward, a quarterback from Miami. The Canes welcome in transfer quarterback Cam Ward to the program, who put up some big numbers for Washington State last season. He will be an upgrade to former quarterback Tyler Van Dyke, who was more interception prone than Ward has been early in his career thus far. The top 2 receivers return for Miami, which will help Ward settle in quite nicely. Ward's stats, if you look at them from Washington State, were pretty nice. The signal caller threw for 3,736 yards with 25 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. Ward's completion percentage at 66.6% and passing yards would have bested any quarterback in the ACC last year, which is crazy to think about. This guy is better than anybody that played last season in the ACC. Ward will provide an immediate spark to the Hurricanes offense, where I expect him to lead this team to new heights under head coach Mario Cristobal, who enters his 3rd year in Coral Gables. With that said, I think Miami is going to do well this season in the ACC. The Hurricanes' schedule on paper is one where I feel Miami could end up being in the ACC championship game. But it all starts on August 31st when the Canes travel down to the Swamp to match up against Florida. I think Ward will have a monster game in the season opener, and that will ignite his Heisman talk early this season. At number 5, from the Big 12, we've got Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. Shedeur Sanders put up some crazy numbers last year in his first season as quarterback on the FBS level with Colorado. Get this, the junior signal caller had 3,230 yards in the air with a 69.3% completion percentage, 27 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. His completion percentage was good for 8th best in all of college football last season, so a top 10 passer. His total passing yards were 5th best in the Pac-12 last season. Coming into last year, many people questioned how Sanders' game would translate from Jackson State to Colorado, but after his first game against TCU, a matchup in which he led the Buffs in a stunner against the Horned Frogs, there were no more doubters. He quieted everyone. In that matchup, Sanders threw for over 500 yards with 4 passing touchdowns and 2 more touchdowns on the ground. Sanders is an elite playmaker, and I expect for him to put up some huge numbers this fall. At number 4 on my list, from the SEC, we have Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin returns 20 starters, including quarterback Jackson Dart, who amassed over 3,300 yards through the air, 23 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. The Ole Miss signal caller had the 3rd most passing yards in the SEC, with the 4th most touchdowns thrown in the entire conference. His best performance of last season came against LSU, in which the Ole Miss signal caller threw for 389 yards with 4 touchdowns and 1 touchdown on the ground. He led the Rebels to an impressive 55-49 victory over the 13th ranked Tigers. That same level of effort will be required from Dart if he expects the Rebels to best their 11 wins from a season ago and end up playing in the SEC championship game and earn a spot to the college football playoffs and come home with the Heisman. He's going to have a Heisman-like performance every week in SEC play if they expect Ole Miss to go on this run and be one of the better teams in the SEC and make it to the playoffs. That's just the way it is in the SEC. That is a very extremely tough conference to play in, but there's enough playmakers returning and the experience from Dart, who I believe is a Heisman hopeful. I think Ole Miss will have a great season if it all comes together. I believe that Dart has the talent and the playmakers around him to make a huge impact in college football this season. With that, we'll take a quick break, a short timeout, but on the other side of the break, I'll give you my top 3 Heisman hopefuls for this college football season. Don't go anywhere. The Cherry Pickin' Podcast will be right back.
Then we'll do it
That's
like
good.
that. Okay, cool.
So who says what?
So I'm
We're
saying
a podcast. You say that?
So I'm saying 5. Beth.
4.
3.
2. 1. Hey there, I'm Dave.
I'm Beth.
And I'm Veronica.
And we are the Happy Hour. We're a podcast dedicated to the most decorated NHL franchise of all time, the Montreal Canadiens.
A casual listen by Habs fans for Habs fans.
We have new episodes every week, so have a listen.
Bye.
Bye.
Basketball is back. And with that comes joy, tension, heartbreak, buzzer beaters, and elation. It's time to be courtside for every one of those moments, no matter where your team is playing. Short Courts specializes in making replica and custom basketball courts for your home, office, sports cave to decorate your walls with all those memories. If you have a picture, we can recreate it. Featured in the 2021 UniWatch Holiday Gift Guide, Short Courts are made using real wood. We frame and give them an epoxy finish to protect the new centerpiece of your memorabilia collection. With previous customers including Northern Kentucky University, Southern Utah University, 199 Apparel, the Perimeter Podcast with Adam Morrison, and many more celebrating the careers and retirements of their coaches, it's time you visit shortcourts.com for more info and a gallery of our work, or you can send us an email, info@shortcourts.com. Be sure to find us on social media, just search for Short Courts. It's time to bring the home court home.
Welcome back to the show. Now on this side of the break, I'll give you my top 3 Heisman hopefuls for this season. We'll start at number 3 from the Big 12, from Colorado, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is one of the most talented football players that I've ever seen. The dual threat, all-purpose playmaker made a splash last season at Colorado. Hunter racked up 721 yards receiving with 5 touchdowns while also playing on defense as a cornerback. Most times last season, Hunter got very few breaks and rarely came off the field. A crazy hit that was one of the most talked about moments in college football last season derailed Hunter for a little bit, but I expect for the playmaker to return to form this year. Last season, he earned the Paul Hornung Award as the nation's most versatile player, and he even locked in first-team All-American honors as a sophomore, which is outstanding. Hunter is a certified first-round draft pick in next year's draft, but Coach Deion Sanders is hoping that Hunter can take the Buffaloes to the promised land this season. It won't be easy, but Hunter has an incredible skill set, and if nothing else, he's on the cover of the new NCAA football game, which had been extinct for 11 years. I mean, that's got to count for something, right? At number 2, from the Big 12, we have Ollie Gordon II from Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State should have a big year this season. It'll help that almost every player returns this year, with 19 starters coming back for action this fall, including leading Cowboys rusher Ollie Gordon II, who rushed for over 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns a season ago. He won the Big 12 rushing title last season, and no doubt will be a player everyone has their eyes on for the Heisman this year. His breakout performance last season earned him first-team All-American honors, as his rushing yards and rushing touchdowns were the best in all of college football. He had 11 games where he rushed for at least 100 yards, of which 2 games of over 200 yards, and 1 game against Cincinnati where Gordon rushed for 315 yards and 4 touchdowns. If Gordon gets loose against defenders, it opens up the entire offense. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how Gordon does this season. If he stays healthy, Gordon should be Oklahoma State's 2nd Heisman winner ever, next to the legend Barry Sanders. And then at number 1 from the Big 10, from Ohio State, wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. I'm high on Ohio State wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. I think he's poised for a big season for his Buckeyes. As a sophomore in 2022, Egbuka put up some big numbers, over 1,100 receiving yards and 12 total touchdowns, which was second best on the team next to Marvin Harrison Jr., who was all-world and is now set to have a breakout season in the NFL with the Arizona Cardinals. Last season, Egbuka regressed a bit due to some ankle issues and a surgery, which held him out of 3 games last year. He had only 515 yards and 4 touchdowns. I believe Egbuka is going to be ready to go this season and will return to his regular form. I expect for him to put up over 1,200 yards receiving with at least 15 receiving touchdowns. So there we have it, my friends. Those are the Heisman hopefuls that I think have a good shot of making it to the Heisman finalists presentation at the end of the season. And one of these guys I think will win the Heisman Trophy this season. I'll run that list down for you one more time. Out of the ACC, we've got quarterback Cam Ward from Miami. Out of the Big 12, we have quarterback Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. Out of the SEC, we've got quarterback Jackson Dart, who plays for Ole Miss. Then we've got from Colorado again, from the Big 12, Travis Hunter, who's all-purpose, all-utility player. And out of the Big 12, we've got running back Ollie Gordon II for Oklahoma State. And then from the Big 10, we've got from the Ohio State University, wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. See, these are the 6 guys that I am high on this season, coming into the season. And I think if they can have a great year and just play to the level that they're capable of playing to, these guys will be in the running for a Heisman Trophy at the end of the season. So I wish them all good luck, and I appreciate you downloading this episode and listening to it. This was my Heisman hopeful episode. I hope it gets you ready for the college football, which is only a few weeks away, if you can believe it or not. College football will be in our lives fairly soon here, everybody. So thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for downloading all my shows, and I hope it gets you ready and pumped for college football, which is right around the corner. But with that, I will sign off. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have a good one. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. Thank you again for tuning into my Cherry Pickin' podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe to my show and drop me a rating on Apple Podcasts. All of my digital content can be found at the website CherryPickinSports.com. And if you are looking to interact with me via social media, my Twitter handle is @Cherry_Pickin. That's PICKIN. On my Twitter, you'll also find a link to my blog where I post my weekly college football predictions and analysis. I can also be reached via email at cherrypickinsports@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to me regarding what you like about this podcast or about what content you'd like to hear more of on future episodes. I sincerely thank you for your support, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care.